Hi, Stacy here with Bluebird Paper and Thread. Thank you for joining me today. It is Saturday, June 27th, 2026. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My channel is on my hobbies. Primarily that's cross stitching with a little bit of sewing thrown in, tiniest little bit of quilting. I also enjoy paper crafting. I like to make greeting cards, gift tags, gift card holders, treat boxes, that kind of thing. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm glad that you decided to stop by and see what I've been up to. This week was a busy one. I worked 2 days, 10 plus hours. I had Thursday off, but I went to work at 10 p.m. and stayed up literally almost all night long. I didn't crawl into my sleeping bag until about 3:30. Did not fall asleep until a little after 4. Woke up at 4:48. Fell asleep again. Woke up at 5:58. Was on my way home by 6:30, 6:15, something like that. So came home, went right to bed, took my mom to the doctor. That was an all afternoon appointment, and then came home and took another little nap, did a little stitching in the evening after dinner, fell asleep again. So I was really kind of out of it yesterday. Today we did training for our resident camp. Even though we ended early, it was still, I was at work at 7:15 until 2:15. So it was a full day. And let's see, I may take my mom to the doctor tomorrow, which means a little wonkiness in the schedule during the day. And then at the end of the day, Wednesday, I have my own appointment. So things are a little out of the ordinary. The 2 10-hour work days were very unexpected, but sometimes you just have to do what you got to do. I did some stitching. Wednesday I did no stitching. I was so tired. I did a little bit of sewing on Thursday while I was home. I worked on project bag tops. I took some of my charm packs and I sewed those together to make project bags. Some for me and some for the shop, and some for both me and the shop, bluebirdneedlework.com. Other than that, I didn't touch many projects. I have a few, and we'll go over that here in a second. It just happens. It's that time of year where things are a little wonky, but you just kind of roll with it. Okay. In a project bag made by me, this is from Lori Holt's project bag panel that I picked up last summer, and I think it's from the year before. I'm not sure if it's 2024 panel or if it's an early 2025, but it was a lot of fun to sew up. In this project bag, I put Dreaming of Poppies. This is a gorgeous piece. I am taking my time with this piece, and I think it's because I am loving the colors so much, and there are a lot of color changes. I am stitching this one on 32 count Winter Moon, I believe. Yeah, linen. And here's where I'm at. So what I was able to do was finish this page up here. So I got a page finish. Yay me. Really excited. And you can kind of see the depth in those flowers. Darker in the middle, lighter towards the outside. So there's a lot of color changes. But I also really enjoy looking at these colors when I'm stitching, so I take my time. So I started kind of pulling into the next page over, but this is where I'm at. I purchased a frame for Land That I Love that I wound up not liking for that piece. It was a very, I liked the design of it, but it was very like a lacquered finish. And instead of sending it back, I thought about this piece. And I love the black that's in this piece. And I thought, ooh, I bet that would look really pretty with that frame. So I measured this finishing and I measured that frame, and it's going to be tight, but I think it's going to fit pretty good. So I'm excited to get this one done. I don't know if it'll be this summer. It would be fun if I could get it done this summer. So that's kind of where that's at. Colors, there's a lot of them. And you can see, like, look at the variegation here in these. And these, you know, 3 or 4 of these colors could wind up in one flower. Same with the yellows here. Same with these oranges. They all look almost like they're the same. Oops, not that one. Look like they're almost the same color, but they really aren't. So it takes a little while to keep changing your floss colors, but I love the colors on this so much that I don't mind at all. So I'm excited to get this one done. I think I might put it out up here. Maybe it'll go up there. We'll see. It's so pretty. Okay. Thursday night when I was at work out in camp, I take this piece with me. Well, I take whatever I'm working on from this series. The monthly weigh-in, June. I've been working on this one for a while. And I am stitching it on the 28 count tea-dyed Monaco, which is the called for. And here is my progress. I cannot tell if right here, if this is dirt or if it is the color, like the variegation in the bamboo floss that just looks like a little smudge. It's hard to tell. I try to keep my hands clean when I'm stitching out there, but it is hard because, you know, it is a camp. But I finished the scale. I've almost finished these 2 flowers. I finished the strawberries up here and added the flowers, the blossoms. I started the banner, and then I came over here and I worked on the cake plate and the strawberry here. I worked on this Thursday night, and then Friday, when I was waiting for my mom and her doctor's appointment, I pulled it out and I worked on it there. So I got many hours in over the course of a 24-hour period of time. So I feel really, really good about my progress on this, and I think this might be my next Friday focus. I did not pick a Friday focus this week. For those of you that are new, my Friday focus is a piece that I picked that's at least 50% done or more, and I work on it every Friday until it's done. And that's how I get my whips done. And they tend to be smaller pieces like this. They're not the larger ones. I have Sunday sampler piece, which I did not stitch on Sunday. It was Father's Day, wasn't it? We were busy. We went out to see my daughter. So I didn't stitch for Friday. No, Sunday sampler. Finished my Friday focus last week, so I just kind of skipped and I worked on that on Friday as well. Yeah, I'm going to do this next one. And then last night, I didn't want to stitch on that one anymore because I felt like I put a lot of time in. And so I pulled out Patriotic pairs. I bought the fabric from 123 Stitch. This blue is not the called for. The called for is 36 count Nantucket Eve. This is 36 count Morris Blue linen. And what I did here is when I started it, I used the called for, which is the white color. I switched my colors up, but they really are very, very close to the called for. I just had this already kind of bundled, and I just kind of tossed them in the bag. So you can see it in real life better than you can through the camera, but it is a bit ghosty. So I thought, you know what, let's try it in the blue. And so I'm kind of embarrassed to say how long I worked on this piece last night, and this is only as far as I got, but I did fall asleep. And then my boss started texting me, so we texted for back and forth for about a half an hour or so. I like it in the blue much, much better. So I'm going to keep with the blue on the blue. And I think it's going to be really, really pretty when it's done. The floss colors that I'm using, I am using Deep Sea and Sun Dried by Weeks. Which actually, are those the called for? Those are the called for. And then it was the grits. I didn't have a spare grits, but I found this Light Ecru by Valdani. And so this is my white. So together, those are the colors. So, really pretty. I have not picked out my neutral fabric yet for the white pair that has both the blue and the red stitching on it. So, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that one yet. That's a future decision for Stacy to make. Not a decision I have to make today after the week I've had. I was watching Jordan, the tattooed stitcher, and she was showing a dough bowl full of, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 of the animal crackers. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have an animal cracker started. Let's work on that. So I pulled out Lily. She could also be a Friday focus because she's more than 50% done, I think. I'm just going to stitch Lily. I'm not going to stitch this band here. I may come back to it later, but for now, that's not what I'm going to do. I am stitching this on 36 count Veins of History linen by Live and Dye LA. And here is where I'm at. So this unstitched line, I ran out of floss. On my needle. So I will come through and I'll stitch that, and then I'll jump up and I'll fill in this area here. It took me a little bit longer to work on her because I kind of messed up the arms, and so I was trying to go through and fix the arms, which I was able to do without frogging. I was so proud of myself. And then once I get that done, I either will start on her arms or I'll do the band on her dress. I haven't quite decided yet. It would be nice to get the dress completely done, but that's a lot of red pear, which I think is what the dress is called for. So she's cute. I love her little frog legs. So she may move into the Friday focus piece along with or it could be the June stitching with the housewives. Haven't quite decided. And my Star Wars Saturday piece, I have Friday focus, I have Star Wars Saturday, and I have Sunday sampler. I did not stitch my Sunday sampler this last week, Father's Day, but I did pull out Star Wars on Saturday. Over 111, over 100 11,000 stitches in this piece. The pattern is 39 pages long. I do have my first page finished, and I am well into the second page. I'm very excited. I forgot to grab my stats before I came out here, so I will insert my stats here somewhere so you can see. I am not quite 5% done. I'm just under 5%. I'm either at 4.6 or maybe could be at 4.9. I don't know. I'll show it, and then I'll show a photo of where I was before I started stitching on Saturday. And here is my progress. So this is all page 3, and then I've moved back to page 2, and then I'll move back and do page 1. Teensy tiny stitches. This is a 40 count white Verdal linen. Verdal, V-E-R-D-A-L, I think. You look at it and you think, oh, that's a lot of black, white, and gray. But wait. These are all the colors. So it's not a lot of black. I mean, it's a lot of black stitching, but also in there, they've got this dark blue. They've got this blue. It's a little brighter. They've got this army green. They've got lavenders, they've got kind of these purpley grays, so creams and a minty green. This color here is actually like a very light minty green. So it is quite the color palette for this piece, but I think you can see that in the Death Star right here. A lot of purples and grays. And a lot of the tans and grays here, that is a TIE fighter. I could not find the middle chart, the page that had the middle, because the chart, it like focuses, it would be just this area. It's very difficult to find like Luke's chin and R2-D2's top. Like I couldn't find it in the snippet. So what I did is I folded my fabric in half, and then I kind of figured out, like based on this photo, where about the middle of the page or the middle of the chart would be of the design, and I found that page was much easier to find, and that's why I started on page 3, and I'm working back 2 and 1, and then I'll start working my way forward. Once I get done with Darth Vader, his helmet, I think it will go a lot quicker, because even though there's black, like, you know, here under Yoda, it's not that. That is massive. My husband sees me stitching on it. He's like, oh, I like it. It's for him. We were sitting one day looking at some things I was stitching, and he said, oh, it's too bad they don't have anything in Star Wars. And I'm like, let's see. And I found a couple pieces, and he picked 2 that he liked, and I wanted to do this one because this one was the black and the white look, and it had all the original. It was like from the original Star Wars, which is my favorite. The other one had like sections, and they were in color, and it was, which would have been a lot more fun to stitch, but it had the entire, like all of the movies, and I didn't like that one as much. And then I went ahead and I picked up extras because I know I'm going to need them, and I wanted dye lots. So I just picked up, I just picked up 2 or 3, 4, like I think I picked up 6 or 7 blacks, because you can always use black. And I just kind of grabbed what I could grab so that all of my dye lots would be the same. Because how sad would that be, is if you get all, 3 or 4 or 5 pages in, and then all of a sudden you've got a really obvious dye lot change. I would cry. I really would. It would not be a good day. Okay. No haul. I mean, I did get haul, but it's for project bags for the shop, bluebirdneedlework.com. So I'm not going to show it here, but it's Halloween and it is Christmas. So I'm excited about those. I also got my lemon fabric came in. So excited. It's so pretty. So I'll work on those as well as the other things that I have earmarked for project bags. So that's fun. And other than that, this week coming up, it should be much easier. I may or may not be able to take, depends on, I need to now prep for the next training, which is on the 11th, and then I leave on the 12th, and I'm gone through the 18th for camp. So I'm going to try to take maybe Thursday this week off, but it really depends on where I am with my prep work. There's still quite a bit to do. And I would rather not take the time and get the job done than be stressed out like I was this morning trying to print what I needed. So that is kind of where I'm at. I should still have plenty of stitching time. I should not be working the number of hours that I worked this past week. So that will be good. And it should just be a better week all the way around, which I'm kind of excited for. Friday I'm off, plan on doing some sewing. Saturday I'll probably do some stitching, patriotic stitching. I don't think I'm going to do a new start. Are you guys doing a new patriotic start for 4th of July? I think I want to pull out, I might stitch patriotic all week if I'm honest. I might try to pull out at least a couple of the patriotic pieces I've been kind of tossing around in my mind. We'll see where I get with that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I might do this on Friday too. I may do a whip parade. It's kind of time for the mid-year whip parades. I like doing them in the middle of the year and at the end of the year because it gives me a chance to kind of go through and assess my whips. And remember, this is a judgment-free zone. I've got a lot of whips. And maybe prioritize what, like I pulled out at the end of the year around the holidays, I pulled out pieces that were 50% or more done for my Friday focus, and I put them in a separate bag. I pulled out Christmas for the Christmas whip go, put those in a separate bag. But as I'm stitching, I get lazy and I don't put things back where they belong. I just kind of throw them all into 1 or 2 baskets, and then things get missed or misplaced or forgotten. So I kind of like pulling that all out and looking at it all and organizing it and coming up with a game plan. It's a long video, but I talk fast and I go through my things quickly. I don't spend a lot of time on any one piece. There are a couple of pieces in there that I really kind of keep tossing around the idea of passing them on. I haven't quite pulled the trigger on that yet. I may or may not, because I think about it and I'm like, no, but you still do like it. Even though you haven't touched it in 2 years, you still like it. It'll be so cute on a project bag. So I haven't quite decided on a couple of those if I'm going to keep them or raffle them off and give them away to somebody, to a viewer that might want to stitch them. We'll just have to wait and see what I feel like on the day of. I keep saying, okay, if I haven't touched it by the time I do the next whip parade, then I will let it go. But now I'm here and I'm like, I don't really want to. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. So I think I'll do that. That video, I think I will schedule to air on the 11th. I will be in town on the 11th, but I will be training, so it'll be an all day, like a 12 hour training day. And then I leave on Sunday and I'm gone through Saturday, the 18th. I'll be back late afternoon on Saturday, the 18th. So, that's kind of my thought. And then I should have the week after that off. Last year I came home and I wound up sick. I think COVID started kind of going through our camp a little bit. So a couple of our kids wound up with COVID and I wound up feeling pretty crummy. So I think, and I had one of the kids that had COVID in my car when I was driving them to the lake, and I think it was just a little too close to me, and I think I caught that bug. So I'm hoping that this year, I've been, taking zinc for a really long time. I might add some emergency this next week, then over the next 2 weeks, drinking some of that every day to kind of boost my immunities. I'm really gonna try to go to bed earlier so I can go up well rested. Doesn't happen. I say that and I just cannot get in bed before 11:30 at night. I just can't do it. I get stuck watching TV shows, and all of my favorite TV shows start at 10 and they go for an hour. So I enjoy watching them. So that's what happens. I think that's pretty much it. That will be the plan. Sewing, stitching, maybe a little of my paint by numbers, because those paints are drying out, so I want to get that painted before I can't do it anymore. And should be a fun couple of weeks before I go away for a week to work. It'll be great. It's a good thing that I like everybody I work with. So who's on that team? They're fun. They're energetic. They're a good group of people. So that's always good. Okay. If you have not done so already, please take a moment. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, share the video, like the video, comment on the video. They have a new thing, hype the video, please. That would be fun. I do read all of the comments. I do try to respond either with the little like heart, or I also will comment if I can on your comment. So please be sure that you do so. It's one of my favorite things about making videos is getting to know the viewers and finding out what we have in common. And I just feel really blessed that so many people have been so kind and helpful when I have a question, thoughtful when there's something kind of amiss. It's really nice. It's a good community, the stitching community. That is it for me. Until next time, happy stitching. Bye.